Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tangmen. So let's start. Listening to Tianmeng Iceworm's narration, Hu Yuhao suddenly had a strange feeling that the name of Tianmeng Iceworm couldn't be because of dreaming every day, right? Although I couldn't get out of that cave, the Wanyan Frost Marrow gave me a really comfortable feeling. Later, fortunately, I didn't find a way out, so I crawled inside, looking for the Wanyan Frost Marrow to eat, and found a big ball of me. I just slept for a while, and then I didn't even know how long I slept until the first golden lines appeared on my body. Golden lines are of great significance to our ice silkworms. It symbolizes that my cultivation base has reached the 10th level. 10,000-year level in my memory. Our ice silkworms have never had 100,000-year cultivation, and I am the first one without precedent. At that time, I evolved into a golden ice silkworm. At that time, I already had enough strength to break through the solid ice and go out. At that time, I didn't know that after becoming a 100,000-year soul beast, I would be greatly restricted, and it was difficult to improve my cultivation. Maybe it's my good luck, and the lack of combat power of our ice silkworms miraculously didn't attract any scourge. Cough cough, I slept too much, so I went out lazily. Luckily, I continued to sleep in the ice cave. Because my cultivation base is higher, I can break through the solid ice and go in places I couldn't go before, so I found more extreme cold marrow in the depths of the ice cave, and they became my food. That's how I eat. I fell asleep, slept and ate, and I don't know how the time passed. Only the golden lines on my body can count the time of my existence. Finally, one day I have eaten up all the cold marrow in the ice cave. I also directly from the bottom of the ice cave drilled out into the sea. I floated along the sea and drifted along the edge of the continent to the south. It was during this process that I met the enemy for the first time. 100,000-year soul beast. I thought I should be invincible in this world, but Tianmeng Iceworm was obviously a little embarrassed at this point, but I seemed to be able to do nothing except sleep Taihui fights, and finally scares away the enemy by relying on his huge mental power, which finally aroused my vigilance. I tried to cultivate the ability to attack, but I found that the long period of cultivation does not mean that the strength is strong. I really am million-year soul beasts, but my combat power is not as good as some 10,000-year soul beasts, those 100,000-year soul beasts, who are good at fighting, and I have no chance of winning. The outside world is too dangerous, but I can't find it. The sea is dangerous, maybe it will be safer on land, so I went on land, but I found that the land is not flat, maybe it is because I have absorbed too much cold marrow. My body has a special smell that can attract all spirit beasts. My attention will attract them to treat me as food. Finally, I was caught by a powerful 100,000-year-old soul beast in the Star Do Great Forest. But it didn't kill me immediately, but took me to the Star Do Great Forest Indiana the forest. I heard it say that I know that I have too much vitality of heaven and earth. As long as I can absorb and transform my power, any soul beast can become a 100,000-year soul beast, and a 100,000-year soul beast can escape from cultivation. The number of years is limited, but also because my power that has been cultivated for millions of years is too huge, it takes a long time to be absorbed by it, and then it brings me back to its lair. I am too good at fighting, but I can strengthen my aura, so I attracted all the 100,000-year soul beasts in the Star Do Great Forest. That big Malay almost included all the soul beasts in the Star Do Great Forest that are over 10,000 years old. The soul beasts fought so fiercely. I thought I had a chance to escape, but who knew that these guys were so cunning that they fought so hard that they stopped to negotiate, and it turned out to be a tragedy. They finally negotiated to absorb my power anyway. The soul power in my body is huge enough, and then they trapped me in the center of the Star Do Forest, forcing me to release my own heaven and earth energy for them to absorb. The stronger the soul beast is, the closer it is to me, and the more benefits I will get. There are so many bastards who treat me like food. Hey, I can't resist and I can only let them manipulate me. While being squeezed by them, I think about how I can get out of their control. My energy is pure enough for them to absorb for tens of thousands of years. After thousands of years of thinking and observation, I found that if I want to get out of their control, I have to not only escape, but also hide my breath. You humans have gradually appeared in my sight. Several times, Some particularly powerful humans entered in the depths of the Star Doe forest. I wanted to hunt down those 100,000-year-old soul beasts, but it was a tragedy. Under the nourishment of my brother, the high-level soul beasts in the Star Doe forest must already be the most powerful batch of soul beasts on the Dolua continent. Although those humans have very powerful weapons, they still suffered a lot, but it also made me realize the advantages of you humans. Brother is a soul beast with dual attributes of spirit and ice. After thinking about it, I decided to find a way to become a human soul ring. Once it comes, that human being will be particularly powerful. With my spiritual attributes, I can keep my consciousness from disappearing and become an unprecedented wisdom soul ring for you human beings. Hee. I must take revenge and help that human being kill all the bastards who persecuted me. So I started to try, but who knew that the first attempt failed? The guy I chose seems to be you human beings. He is also quite strong, but he is really useless. Seeing that my main body is only the impact of mental power, he didn't even bear the impact of me. Only then did I realize that it is not so easy to become my host. First, you must have spiritual attributes, and then you must have enough ability to carry my soul power. It was even more difficult, so I searched for thousands of years without success, and my soul power was almost squeezed out by those 100,000-year-old soul beasts. Seeing that my brother was about to run out of fuel, the lamp was dying. When the 10th golden pattern appeared on my body, I finally became an unprecedented million-year-old soul beast. After the 10th golden pattern appeared, I finally had the power to fight against those fighting-type 100,000-year-old soul beasts, and I was able to hide myself, so I named myself Skydream Iceworm, no longer golden pattern Iceworm. But I definitely can't beat them, so many 100,000-year-old soul beasts, and my heaven and earth energy has been almost absorbed by them. Only the pair are left according to them. The soul power of life is the most powerful, that is, my two attributes have not been absorbed. I can't do revenge myself, so I found a chance and finally used the power after the breakthrough to hide my breath and escape. Hey God Meng Bingkan, it's a pity, brother, but it's still a tragedy. Breaking through 1,000,000 years is actually a double-edged sword. Although I was barely out of their control, my lifespan has come to an end because of the sudden scourge. If it can't be done in other ways. If I survive, my life will soon be exhausted and I will die. At this time, I met you, a little guy. Although you are weak and pitiful, I have no other choice. Anyway, you are also a spiritual attribute, so I can only reluctantly integrate with you. Anyway, those bastards will not get my most precious thing. Listening to Qian Meng Bingsan's narration, Hui Yuhao has long forgotten the fear and said indignantly, "They are so hateful. How could they imprison you like this for nearly 10,000 years?" Tian Meng Iceworm said with the same hatred, "Isn't it? Even though I'm cute, handsome, and powerful, they can't treat me as food." Well, now, I finally ran out and didn't let them get my brother's body. Hui Yuhao, although you are a little younger and less capable, but fortunately, you are still innocent. Brother, I will take it as a cultivation plan. When you become stronger in the future, you must do it. Take revenge for my brother. Don't they evolve by absorbing my soul power? In the future, I will turn them into spirit rings and spirit bones. Humph. Okay, I will avenge you when I grow up. Hui Yuhao agreed without hesitation. The relationship between a man and a beast is quickly drawn closer in this somewhat bizarre but miraculous story. After millions of years, only a small number of spirit beasts have come into contact with them. Although their wisdom is not inferior to that of humans, how can they know that people's hearts are sinister? If human beings encountered it in this situation, they would definitely not easily reveal their own stories to others. They chose Hui Yuhao, a child who was also a blank sheet of paper. In fact, it was its luck. What's the matter with my soul ring trying to seal my own power again? Then can you still give me soul skills? After losing his fear, Hui Yuhao had more curiosity in his heart. Naturally, there is a way. After thinking about it for so many years, I have already made proper arrangements. After the experience of blasting human beings before, I understand that everything to help you must be based on your own safety. Now there is no way out. If you die, it means that I have to finish playing. My original soul power has been almost absorbed by the soul beasts of the Star Doe forest, otherwise even if I seal my own power, you will not be able to bear it, and what I have integrated into your body is more my original power and spiritual power. Have you seen these 10 light spheres? They are the 10 seals I set up. From another perspective, it can also be said that I gave you the power of the first soul ring. It's just you. It's just not usable for the time being. That is to say, although your first soul ring is at the million-year level, it doesn't have the power of a million-year soul ring, but as your cultivation level improves, I will seal the power in your body. It will gradually unlock and increase the power of your soul ring, and even enhance the power of your other soul rings in the future. After all, the power I have accumulated for millions of years is too huge for you. Hui Yuhao blinked and said, I still don't quite understand. Qianmeng Binkan said angrily, idiot, let me put it more simply. Your body with the first soul ring can only bear the soul ring of a 400-year-old soul beast at most. So your first soul ring, the actual power of the ring is 400 years later. When you have a breakthrough, the soul ring that can withstand a 1,000-year soul beast, your first soul ring will become a 1,000-year soul ring. That is to say, your first soul ring can evolve at any time, and so can the other soul rings you get in the future. Of course, the evolutionary power I can bestow on you is limited. The stronger the other soul rings you get, the more power you can save for me. With the power I sealed in your body to support you, you have 10 soul rings that can reach the 100,000-year level. Binkan coldly snorted and said proudly, that's an ordinary person. With Brothers Fusion, you are no longer an ordinary person. Of course, a single spirit can only absorb 9 spirit rings, but you are no longer a single spirit that kills 100,000. The year soul beast will definitely be able to obtain a soul bone, and 100,000-year soul ring with 2 soul skills. You should know this, right? A wisdom soul ring, of course, I am much stronger than them. The first soul ring I incarnate can not only evolve infinitely according to your physical condition, but also give you 4 soul skills. But I don't have a soul bone for you, but I will add a martial soul to you. Although Hui Yuhao had already guessed that the million-year soul ring would have a great effect on him, he never expected it to be so big. A soul ring that can evolve infinitely surprised him, but the bigger one, the surprise, is still behind the 4 soul skills plus a martial soul. What is the concept? Since the 4 soul skills are all brought by the first soul ring, there is no doubt that their power will also evolve along with the evolution of the first soul ring. They are abilities that can be used forever. The addition of a martial soul can be described as a miracle, which is equivalent to turning him into a genius with twin martial souls, who only has soul I martial souls. The added martial soul can also have at least 9 soul rings. How can such an increase of 9 soul skills be compared to a 100,000-year soul ring? Although his own strength is still very weak after getting these boosts and needs a little improvement, it undoubtedly opened a door to the sky for him, and Hui Yuhao, who was originally mediocre and low quality, has infinite possibilities for the future. The martial spirit I bestowed on you is ice, but at present, it is still ice without a soul. The words of Qianmeng Binkan pulled Hui Yuhao back from the surprise, ice without a soul. What is that? The martial soul currently only has attributes, but no form. When you absorb the first ice attribute soul ring, your martial soul will be finalized. What kind of soul beast did you absorb the soul ring from? Then your second martial soul will be, what is it? In other words, your second martial soul must be a beast martial soul. You don't have to worry about it. I've already thought about it for you, but your current cultivation level is not enough. I'll take you to complete the first ice attribute when your strength is stronger. The addition of a soul ring. Now you understand why I said that the power I can increase for your soul ring is not enough. So you must be cautious when choosing a soul ring in the future, and listen to my opinion more. Okay, Hui Yuhao was excited. He agreed. Then what are my 4 soul skills? Qianmeng Binkan said, it's up to you to comprehend by yourself. What you comprehend is always clearer than what I tell you directly, but don't be too happy too early, that's right. It is a spiritual attribute, and the power I seal in your body is also huge, but there are a few points you have to remember. First, the power I seal in your body can only help you improve the number of years of the soul ring, which is the soul skill, when your cultivation level has reached. The power of it can't help you improve your own soul power. Secondly, the 4 soul skills I gave you are almost all auxiliary, because of my own reasons. You don't have much attack power, so you are still very weak now and want to change. There is still a long way to go to become strong, do you understand? I understand that my mother taught me that no one can reach the sky step by step, only one step at a time can rely on one's own diligence and hard work to become a master. Brother Tianmeng, don't worry. I will definitely work hard, that's good, but your aptitude is really bad. In the future, if you have a chance, I will find some treasures from heaven and earth for you to eat. Your spirit eyes and martial soul are mutated. Your potential is good, but it's not good. Because in the process of its mutation, your body functions have been affected a lot since you were young. See that grey ball of light above? Hui Yuhao said, did you see that is also your power? Tianmeng Binkan said, no, I don't know what it is. When I merged into your body, the sudden change seemed to be attracted by my spiritual power. That grey ball of light is a strand of soul that doesn't seem to belong to our world. I don't know where it came from, but although this strand of soul is weak, its grade is extremely high. I can't do anything with it, but I can feel that it doesn't exist. What malice should be falling into a deep sleep right now? It may not wake up in your lifetime, but it may cause some troubles when it wakes up, but don't worry, it's fine if it doesn't move. If it's really bad for you, I'll protect you, there is no problem. Okay, you should go out. Those 2 humans outside have been waiting for you, and they don't mean any harm to you. 2 humans? Hui Yuhao was in astonishment. Everything in front of him suddenly became blurred. He just felt as if he was instantly brought into a huge vortex and plunged into darkness. Why are you still awake? Tang Wei patted Hui Yuhao's face and looked at Bei beside him with a questioning look. Bei smiled gently and said, his qi and blood are very stable, and his soul power in his body is also normal and very strong. If I'm not mistaken, it should be just now. Breaking through as a soul warrior is a symbol of entering the level of a soul master. His body needs to fuse this part of power to adapt to the breakthrough soul power. It will naturally take some time. It's a pity that it's just a 10-year-old wind baboon. Tang Wei snorted, what's the matter? It's a pity that the first spirit ring is a little weak. It's normal for him to be able to kill the wind baboon alone, which is already pretty good. Don't say it's your heart and stomach that are connected together. Tang Wei's pretty face flushed slightly. Hey, your heart and stomach are connected together. No big or small. Don't forget that I'm your teacher. Bei didn't refute, just smiled gently seeing her, Hui Yuhao hummed softly, and he slowly opened his hazy eyes. Xiao Yuhao, you finally woke up. I was so scared to death. Tang Wei was overjoyed when she saw Hui Yuhao, who opened his eyes. There was some confusion in the middle of the game, and he regained consciousness before waking up. The scene of talking with Tianmeng Binkan was clearly remembered. He couldn't help but subconsciously said to himself, am I really dreaming? Tang Wei giggled and pinched his arm. Hui Yuhao suddenly felt pain. Sister Xiaoya, what are you doing? Tang Wei smiled and said, let me help you check if you are dreaming. How about it? Are you awake? You are really brave enough to go to the Star Do Forest alone. Hui Yuhao scratched his head in embarrassment. It was only after he encountered the wind baboon that he truly realized his own weakness and overreaching, but he was quickly overwhelmed by an eager mood guided from the embarrassment, jumping up from the ground to stimulate the soul power in his body. Hui Yuhao was immediately surprised by an inexplicable scene. The soul power in his body, which had already reached the bottleneck, had undergone a qualitative change. Even his physical strength seemed to increase a little. Power surged out of his spirit eyes, and everything he saw became clearer, and many instinctive imprints appeared in his mind. It was one skill after another. 4 skills were indeed 4 skills. Brother Tianmeng really exists. I'm not dreaming, it's all real. I actually have a million-year soul ring. It was only at this moment that Hui Yuhao dared to believe that everything that happened before was real. The ecstasy in his heart surged out uncontrollably, and he couldn't help shouting, I succeeded. Bei, and Tang Wei saw a circle of bright white soul rings coming out of it. Hui Yuhao's feet rose slowly up to the head, and then slowly moved down. Especially some soul master sects with a long history. In a sense, the Duke's mansion itself can be regarded as a big sect. Tang Wei nodded seriously and said, it's the Zhongmen. Our Zhongmen used to be the number 1 in the mainland. If you join, you won't suffer any disadvantages. Moreover, our Zhongmen's unique skills are very suitable for you to practice. You are alone and you are so young. If you join the sect, it will be better for everyone to take care of each other in the future than for you to be reckless alone. After all, luck cannot always follow you. What if something happens to your private actions? Hui Yuhao asked subconsciously, Sister Xiaoya, what is your sect called? Tang Ya said seriously, the Tang sect used to be the #1 sect in the mainland. The sect has declined, but in the history of the Doluo continent, the Tang sect has an important position. It can be said that there is no other sect that can compare with it. When he was still very young, his mother told him the legend about the Tang sect. Founded 10,000 years ago, it can be said to be one of the oldest sects. It is said that Tang San, the suzerain of the first generation of Tang sect, once changed the pattern of the entire continent and laid the foundation for the future of the development of soul masters in the mainland. At that time, Tang sect was indeed worthy of the name. The #1 sect in the world, and according to legend, Tang San even broke through the highest realm of a soul master, titled Doluo, and became an existence of another level. Since then, he has never died, but no one knows what happened in the end. 10,000 years have passed, and the legend of the Tang sect is still there. But it has already left the stage of history. Few people know who are the descendants of the Tang sect. Even some legends of the Tang sect are no longer detailed. The masters laid the foundation for future development. Then, after the collision of the Sun and Moon continent more than 4,000 years ago, the Doluo continent may not be able to defeat the powerhouse of the Sun and Moon continent to unify the two continents. Brother Hua, have you heard of the Tang sect? Bei asked. Hui Yuhao nodded and said, I've heard some legends about the Tang sect, but I just don't know where the Tang sect is. Tang Ya's eyes suddenly turned red. The Tang sect has no mansion. I have met your senior brother. Hui Yuhao bowed to Bei again, and saluted Bei. Tang Ya breathed a sigh of relief and said, Yuhao, you can call me teacher Xiaoya, just like Bei from now on, but don't imitate him, you know that he is always the same. It's the teacher. After paying homage to his teacher, Hui Yuhao was obviously a bit cautious, but his bewildered heart also stabilized a lot. Being in the Tang sect gave him an invisible sense of security. This feeling has not appeared in his heart for a long time. Xiaoya's wrist after flipping through it. I do know where I took out a book and handed it to Hui Yuhao. Little Yuhao, this is the transcript of our Tang sect Xiantian treasure record. It? Okay. Hui Yuhao nodded and listened carefully to Bei's explanation. When encountering things that Hui Yuhao didn't understand, he was able to explain in simple terms. Hui Yuhao quickly immersed himself in this strange skill. Hui Yuhao said that he would never be as organized as Bei said. He is really unqualified as the master of the Tang sect. The air in the dense forest has become more fresh, but there is a faint dignified breath coming from the depths of the forest. Ask me. Bei said to Hui Yuhao, thank you, big brother. Hui Yuhao's admiration for Bei has been rising continuously during his narration, and naturally he became more respectful. At this moment, Xiaoya, who was walking in front, suddenly snorted coldly, and saw how the steps under his feet suddenly became illusory, and his body flashed towards the big tree on the left. Hui Yuhao only vaguely saw a few gleams of cold light flashing by. Said, these wind baboons are the most annoying, not only to attack actively, but also sneak attack. Hui Yuhao didn't use his spirit eyes just now and didn't see how Xiaoya activated it. Mr. Xiaoya, did you use soul skills just now? Xiaoya said proudly, it's not the soul skills, it is the combination of our Tang sects, Ghost Shadow Fan Zongbu, and the hidden weapon. You will do it after you practice hard. Bei's changes are not that great except for the blue lightning mark on his forehead. There is only one place in his body that has changed due to the possession of the spirit. But just this change gave Hui Yuhao a new understanding of soul masters. It was his right arm. The original sleeve on the right side burst into ashes due to the expansion of the right arm. The length of the arm increased by more than half a foot. The whole arm was extremely thick and covered with blue-purple scales. The hand became a claw covered with the same. Every joint on Scales' hands became extremely thick, and the blue-purple snake electricity hovering around his body was constantly condensing or flowing around his arms. Just hovering over this special mutated arm, the three-ring soul master, who is only 4 or 5 years older than himself, is already a strong soul master above level 30, and his soul ring is still the highest matching ratio 2 centuries and 1,000 years in the soul ring. White represents 10 years, yellow represents 100 years, purple represents 1,000 years, and the higher black represents 10,000 years. If the powerful 100,000-year soul beast that once persecuted Tianmeng Iceworm turns into a soul ring, it is red. Hui Yuhao has already asked Bei and Tang Ya that they are both 15 years old. On the month, Bei is a little older. At this age, he has reached the cultivation level of Soul Venerable, and has 3 soul rings of this level. It is perfect to describe Bei, but from the perspective of his cultivation, he is clearly far superior to Tang Ya, who is a teacher, but is only a great soul master above the 20th level. Bouncing up and going straight to Bei snorted coldly, a layer of purple lighted up in his eyes, swung his thick right arm horizontally, and suddenly a layer of electric grid was densely covered in the air, blocking the shadow's path. Crack shadow in the roar of thunder. After rebounding back, Bei also staggered back 3 or 4 steps, his face changed slightly. Obviously the opponent was stronger than he expected. It's a mandala snake. Wow. It's a 1,000-year level snake. That's great, Bei. I want this. Tang Ya was not surprised, but exclaimed in a delicate voice. Hui Yuhao also saw clearly the shadow that attacked them. It was a 3-meter-long, peach-red snake with a small protrusion on its forehead that looked like a flower. Tang Ya's excited face was dignified. Although he is already a strong soul master, he still has difficulty in winning against 1,000-year-old soul beasts. This is because his own martial soul is strong enough, but a soul master with an ordinary soul master saw this. The Millennium Soul Beast has only the possibility of turning around and running away. Xiaoya, protect Yuhao. Bei snorted, and at the same time the first soul ring on his right arm was already shining with intense soul power fluctuations, and the next one was about a foot in diameter. The dragon claws formed by the condensed blue-purple lightning on the left and right have shot out towards the mandala snake. Thunder Dragon Claw. Bei's first soul skill. The mandala snake is very cunning and was still entrenched on the ground. Now Bei's attack just started. As soon as it started, it bounced up and leaped into the air. Its long tail twitched suddenly in the air, and suddenly it was like a pink light. It rushed towards Bei. Bei didn't retreat, but went forward. Instantly fell down, and at the same time stepped on the shadow of a ghost with a quick flash. The thunder in the hands of Bei, who possesses a powerful martial spirit, its defensive power is nothing to mention. In the state of thunder fury, Bei's dragon claws blatantly squeezed its snake's head to make a cracking sound. The bones seemed to be shattered at any time. Xiaoya, Bei let out a low snort. Naturally Tanya would not let go of such a good opportunity, and brought Hui Yuhao quickly to the side of the Dachra snake. The pierced snake's mouth was smashed into the life of this 1,000-year-old mandala snake, and the lightning light converged. Bei finally breathed a sigh of relief, and a circle of purple soul rings slowly condensed from the head of the mandala snake. Tang Yari looking at Bei with an excited face, Bei nodded to her. Hurry up and start. I didn't expect to meet 1,000-year-old soul beasts in such a fringe area of the Star Do Great Forest. The quality of the soul beasts in the Star Do Great Forest is really getting higher and higher. Tang Ya giggled and said, I didn't expect to help me protect the Dharma so smoothly. This question waits. After you come to Shrek Academy, you will gradually understand the internal and external reasons. There are many internal and external reasons. Now that there are only a few of us left in the Tang sect, it may not be a bad thing. At least some restraints are difficult to act on us anymore. But you, little brother, but it really gave me a big surprise. Hui Yuhao naturally understood that Bei was referring to the soul skill he used just now, and couldn't help scratching his head in embarrassment. I'm just trying to see if it works. Bei sternly said, it's not just a 1,000-year-old soul beast, I'm not sure I can deal with it. If it weren't for your strange spiritual power, I'm afraid I would have been hard to get out just now. Before he was dealing with the Dachra snake, it was at the final critical moment. Relying on Hui Yuhao's mental detection and sharing, he can accurately predict the movement of the Dachra snake every time. Not only that, the most important moment appeared at the last moment when the Dachra snake burst its snake crown. At that time, in the world of mental detection, Zhong Bei clearly felt that the snake crown of the mandala snake had a feeling of lighting up, which he didn't see at all in his eyes. It all came from Hui Yuhao's spiritual detection of the three-dimensional world, so he was able to subconsciously first respond in a short time. Otherwise, as long as the poisonous blood is stained, he may not be able to retreat completely. This also made Bei realize how powerful the skills Hui Yuhao used just now are in the battle. He conservatively estimated that if he competed with the enemy sometimes with the assistance of Hui Yuhao's skill, he can at least increase his strength by 20 to 30%. This is a remarkable improvement. What's more, this is only Hu Yuhao's first skill. Hu Yuhao said with lingering fear, "This snake just now is really powerful, senior brother." "What kind of soul beast is it?" Bei said, "It's called Datura snake. It has a paralyzing effect and is very destructive to the nerves of the body. It is one of the most terrifying existences among poisonous soul beasts. Its body is extremely tough and hard to hurt with ordinary swords. Only its mouth and eyes are its weaknesses. The position protection has always been very good, and the speed is extremely fast. The most terrifying thing is its aggressiveness. Once the opponent is identified, it seldom gives up." This video will end here. Thank you for watching.